All right, let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo because we talked about Lionel Messi, so we're going to have to do that. So we've got Portugal against Uruguay coming up tomorrow. Thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo then, Tom? Because there's been so much talk about him after the first game. There's been people saying, oh, he did great. Other people saying, oh, he didn't do so great. What are your thoughts on what we've seen from Cristiano so far?
Well, it's been peak Cristiano, hasn't it, really? I mean, it's the whole narrative is revolved around him, whether he wanted it to or not. I think, you know what, he was okay in the opening game, but is he, you know, in the right sort of form where they can guarantee him to produce the moments, you know, in the big games? I'm not sure, to be honest. I think if you look elsewhere in that team, you've got the likes of, you know, Felix, these sort of players as well. They need to have their chance to shine in this team as well. I think there are some sort of murmurings within the sort of the Portugal press group that they may start Ronaldo on the bench tomorrow and bring him on as an impact sub. I can't see that. I mean, it's Cristiano, he's going to end up starting. But when you have a player like Rafael Leao on the bench, surely he has to get the chance to play from the outset. And he can only do that when he's sort of out of Ronaldo's shadow. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they manage the next two group games. They've had the win. It was nervy against Ghana. You know, that they could have drawn it late on, especially if Iñaki Williams had managed to get the ball back. But it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they manage this over the next few days. I think Cristiano needs a good game. We don't want him to end up doing another interview, do we, if he's dropped? But we'll see. Wait and see what happens. I just think that they've got some brilliant players, and I think we're forgetting that perhaps because of the whole Cristiano circus. You look at, you know, they've got Bruno Fernandes, they've got Leao, they've got Felix, etc., etc. But it's a big game for them tomorrow. Like Uruguay didn't look overly impressive in their opener, only one shot on target against South Korea. So it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, and they beat them, didn't they? Uruguay beat Portugal in 2018. Fernando Santos has been talking about the importance of Cristiano Ronaldo, so I would hazard a guess he's going to be in the starting 11 again for him. What are your guesses, Shaka, on to which side will go further from what we've seen with Messi and his Argentina team and Ronaldo and his Portugal team?
That's a really good question, in all honesty. I'm with Tom in that I actually thought that Portugal looked better without Ronaldo. And I know he opened the scoring, and I know the role he played in winning that penalty, which we've spoken about. But as we've also spoken about, I thought before that he had two gilt-edged opportunities to open the scoring. And if you see that in Fernando Santos, do you ask yourself, is it better to have a Rafael Leao on the end of those crosses, on the end of those passes? And that's a decision that I'm not sure he's prepared to answer, not during this tournament, not given everything that's happened with Cristiano Ronaldo over recent weeks. You probably try to continue to appease him as best you can, at least in keeping a settled dressing room for the time being. But as I mentioned, as much as I may not be that convinced by Portugal, equally I'm not that convinced by Argentina. Messi is probably, his powers have remained far stronger than Messi's. Messi's powers have remained stronger than Ronaldo's. So on if that were my yardstick, I would have to say Argentina. But really, it's about how both those players' supporting casts can get the best out of them. How well Portugal can continue to service Cristiano Ronaldo, do his running, do the covering for him, and hope that he steps up and winning a penalty or scoring a free kick or whatever it may be, and how best Argentina's own supporting cast can try to remember that they are actually good players and are fully allowed to do and take some responsibility on their own shoulders. If Argentina players do that, I think they go further than Portugal.
Yeah, I've said too much about Argentina, so I'll just put the focus on Portugal here. And I guess I'm just going to stick with what I've said for a while, which is I believe Portugal's biggest enemy, most often than not, is actually Fernando Santos himself. I feel like sometimes there's a little bit too much of a tunnel vision with him. But, Portugal's opponent, Uruguay, I've been very high on them for a long time. I actually still have them, crazily enough, in the semifinals, just because of everything that I've seen since Diego Alonso took over from Oscar Tavares. And what you saw of Uruguay against South Korea, all due respect to South Korea, very good team, I actually was very disappointed. I expect a much, much better performance from Uruguay in this game against Portugal. I've been very high on their midfield, specifically the man that does it all, Fede Valverde. And I believe that he and others are going to pick themselves up even more against this game. I think that Uruguay are Portugal's worst possible opponent, because Uruguay are going to be in your face and make you play narrow. And Ronaldo, even though Diego Godin is still getting old, I think that this Uruguayan side will be more than enough to beat Portugal. And here come the Ronaldo haters on my Instagram DMing. I know it's going to come, but I'm just saying it right now. I have Uruguay winning this game. I believe there's so much more to them that the world hasn't seen yet.
LME,
give these guys all the heat. Shaka, LME.
Can I just say, LME, as far as Uruguay going to the semi-finals, you're allowed to change your mind if you like.
Is it in my contract too, Shaka?
Yeah, Kay loves it. She never mentions it when you change your mind. Never does.
Because Kay and I have this special friendship. It's fine.
Shaka, don't try to deflect what happened onto me. You're the one who changed your mind. Tom thought he'd get away with it today. Luckily, he was in good company. Tom actually apologized for it. I don't feel like you did, Shaka.
Tom's about to get heat from Batshuayi's family after this.
We'll see how many of those there are. All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us, Tom and Shaka. I will speak to you guys again later. We'll let you get to watching the next slate of games. Luis, I'll stick around with you, though, because we're going to talk about the big one that is coming up, Spain and Germany. A little later on. Suddenly things are looking a bit better than they were for Germany after Japan were beaten by Costa Rica this morning.
Unbelievable. I mean, nobody saw it coming. Fantastic from Costa Rica, resilient, strong, defiant, because it's not easy, is it, Kay? When you lose, when you get humiliated by Spain, what are you going to do next? And well done, Costa Rica. You did something truly amazing, because I did not see you getting any points in this World Cup, and you made it happen. And to your point, now this group is wide open, and Germany should be sending, all the Brutwurst and all the beer to Costa Ricans, because this really saved them, because now they have a passage. I do feel, though, Kay, that Spain are going to be just a little bit too much for the Germans. I think that they're more than together. And Kay, you and I and many are very big fans of Luis Enrique as well, and what he's done for this team is just a tremendous achievement, and as a person, as a manager, and it's going to be a good game. I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
I feel like it's made it more interesting now, and I'm wondering if it's put a bit of a spring in the step for Germany. But I just feel that, given recent history between the two sides as well, and in major tournaments, I feel that, I don't know, Germany almost don't seem to, like we were talking the other day about how we don't fear them like we used to fear them. Anybody doesn't. They don't seem that machine of a team that would always get the win, whatever else happened. I mean, there are quotes about it from English players historically going back. Whereas when this Spanish team comes onto the pitch, they just seem to have this swagger about them. And it's the way that Luis Enrique's got them playing, the way that they all feel so supported by him, and what we've continually mentioned, in that he doesn't care if you're playing for your side, how well you're doing for your side. If you fit his system, you fit in with him. And that makes a team feel so valued, because nobody's thinking that they're better than anyone else. You just know that he really, truly wants you, because he sees who you are as a player and that you are what he needs. So I feel like they'll run through a wall for him as well. Yeah. I know you and I both think that Spain are going to win this, or at least we said so tomorrow, so I won't backtrack on that. And just wondering if Germany now have seen a way of going, okay, how it will work for them. Whether backs were really against the wall before this morning's result, where they had to win. Now, because they have that lifeline, do they just say, okay, we've just been given this, let's make sure we definitely get something from this, without the added pressure of absolutely having to win? I can't tell what way it will play for them. So I'm still going to go for a Spain win after all that.
Yeah, me too. By the way, speaking so much of Luis Enrique, people need to know that, like you said, players will do anything for him, but so would anybody that crosses his path. And we know everything that he's done already. Like, he started his streaming channel on Twitch, so he can really, grab all that attention, all that focus from the players and make it on himself. He's very honest. He said he's open, and he's a man that has gone through the worst of tragedies, losing his beautiful daughter, Zana, in 2019 to bone cancer. This is a type of cancer that my own mother passed away from. And, so I have this weird, close connection to him. But today, on this day, on Instagram, he was, he's a big cyclist. He obviously noted to the importance of this match against Germany, but it's also the anniversary of his daughter would have turned 13 today. So he's paying tribute. Yeah. So obviously it's very emotional. I was reading it and just cried right there on the spot. It's, he's just a very, very special human. And for anybody that knows how this disgusting, horrible, demonic disease can do to a family, it's just great to see such a strong person. And I know that the entire Spanish team and Spain is right behind him.
Yeah, and him speaking out hopefully will help others like yourself as well, Luis, families myself too, who've been affected by cancer. We're thinking of all of you today, and we really hope you do enjoy the games that are remaining. We will be back with you after Spain against Germany.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.